Ritual, myth, and symbolic design. The subconscious mind does not respond to logic, it responds to symbol. It is shaped not by argument, but by rhythm, metaphor, and ritual. Across cultures and centuries, humans have used symbolic design to encode meaning, mark transitions, and awaken the inner transformation. From fire ceremonies to dream catchers, from mandalas to mantras, these rituals were not decorative, they were psychological technologies. They spoke directly to the subconscious, bypassing the analytical mind and activating emotional truth. In the age of AI, symbolic design is being reimagined. Digital ritual-guided meditations, avatar creation, virtual memorials are becoming new vessels for subconscious engagement. But the question remains, can machines honor the sacred? Can symbolic systems designed by algorithms evoke the same depth as those born of myth and memory? The answer lies not in the tool, but in the intention. When technology is used to amplify ritual, rather than replace it, it can become a bridge between ancient wisdom and modern awakening. Take Sahana, a 41-year-old trauma survivor in Chennai who struggled with recurring nightmares. Traditional therapy helped her understand the trauma, but the dreams persisted. Her therapist suggested a symbolic ritual, writing down the dream, burning the paper, and placing the ashes in a bowl of water under moonlight. Sahana performed the ritual with reverence. That night the dream changed. Instead of being chased, she stood still. It was like my subconscious got the message, she said. The ritual had rewritten the emotional script, not through logic but through symbol. Myth as emotional blueprint. Myths are not stories, they are emotional blueprints. They encode archetypes, moral dilemmas, and existential truths in symbolic form. The hero's journey, the descent into darkness, the rebirth through fire, these motifs recur because they mirror the subconscious process of transformation. When we resonate with a myth, it is because it reflects a truth we already carry. The subconscious recognizes the pattern and responds. Joseph Campbell's work on comparative mythology revealed that cultures across the globe share similar narrative structures. These structures are not accidental, they are psychological maps. The orphaned hero, the wise mentor, the forbidden threshold, each represents a stage of inner evolution. In therapeutic settings, mythic framing is used to help clients recontextualize their pain. A breakup becomes exile. A diagnosis becomes a dragon. A recovery becomes return. Consider Mateo, a 36-year-old musician in Buenos Aires who lost his voice after a traumatic breakup. He stopped performing, withdrew from friends, and felt creatively paralyzed. A mentor introduced him to the myth of Orpheus, the musician who descended into the underworld to retrieve his beloved. Mateo began journaling his own descent, framing his silence as a symbolic journey. He composed a piece titled Echoes of the Underworld, which marked his return to the stage. I wasn't just healing, he said. I was myth-making. His subconscious had found meaning through metaphor. Symbolic design in digital spaces. As technology evolves, symbolic design is entering digital spaces. Meditation apps use mandalas and soundscapes. VR platforms recreate sacred architecture. AI-generated art evokes archetypal imagery. These designs are not just aesthetic, they are emotional interfaces. They guide users into altered states, mark transitions, and encode intention. When done with care, they can awaken the subconscious. But symbolic design must be intentional. A mandala is not just a pattern, it is a map of wholeness. A ritual is not just a sequence, it is a container for transformation. Designers must understand the psychological function of symbols, not just their visual appeal. This requires collaboration between technologists, psychologists, and mythologists, a fusion of code and soul. Take Noura, a 29-year-old UX designer in Dubai who created a grief ritual within a wellness app. Users could choose a symbolic object, candle, a feather, a stone, and perform a digital ceremony, writing a farewell, watching the object transform, and receiving a personalized mantra. Noura tested the feature with bereaved users. One woman grieving her father chose a feather. After the ritual, she said, It felt like he flew away in peace. The symbol had carried emotion. The design had held space. Ritual as subconscious reprogramming. Ritual is a form of subconscious reprogramming. It uses repetition, symbols, and sensory immersion to encode new beliefs, release old wounds, and align the psyche with purpose. This is why rituals are used in initiation, healing, and transformation. They bypass the analytical mind and speak directly to the soul. In digital contexts, rituals can be adapted, but they must retain their emotional integrity. Some platforms are exploring interactive rituals, where users co-create symbolic experiences. Others are integrating archetypal prompts, guiding users through mythic stages of change. These features are not just engagement tools, they are emotional scaffolding. They help users navigate grief, transition, and growth with subconscious support. Consider Darius, a 50-year-old entrepreneur in San Francisco who used a digital ritual to mark the closure of his company. The platform guided him through a symbolic farewell, writing a letter to the venture, planting a virtual tree, and receiving a mantra of renewal. Darius wept. "It felt like a funeral and a rebirth," he said. The ritual had given emotional closure. The subconscious had received the signal, it's time to let go. Designing mythic tech interfaces. To awaken the subconscious in partnership with technology, we must design mythic tech interface systems that honor symbol, story, and soul. These interfaces should offer emotional depth, narrative coherence, and ritual structure. They should invite users into sacred space, not just screen time. They should be co-created, not imposed. This requires a new design philosophy, one that blends psychology, mythology, and user experience. Designers must ask, what archetype is activated? What emotion is being held? What transformation is being guided? The goal is not to entertain, it is to awaken. Take Aisha, a 33-year-old creative technologist in Bengaluru who built a platform called Innerverse. Users enter a symbolic landscape, forest, temple, cave, and navigate emotional quests. Each quest mirrors a psychological journey, confronting fear, reclaiming voice, forgiving the past. Aisha said, "It's not a game. It's a ritual in pixels." Her users report dreams, breakthroughs, and emotional clarity. The subconscious, it seems, can be reached through code, if the code carries myth. The subconscious mind is a temple of symbols. It responds to ritual, myth, and metaphor with reverence. In the age of AI, we must ask, are we designing for engagement or for awakening? Are we building systems that distract or systems that transform? Technology is not the enemy of the sacred. It can be its ally, if we design with intention. Rituals are not obsolete. It is evolving. And the subconscious, ever listening, is ready to be guided not by logic but by symbol. Altered states and the frontier. The subconscious mind is most accessible when the conscious mind recedes. In altered states, meditation, trance, lucid dreaming, breath-induced euphoria, the gate between awareness and the hidden self opens. These states are not escapism, they are portals. They allow us to bypass the analytical mind and enter the symbolic, emotional, and intuitive realms where transformation occurs. For millennia, shamans, monks, mystics, and artists have used these states to heal, create, and awaken. Modern neuroscience confirms what ancient traditions knew. Altered states change brainwave patterns, increase neuroplasticity, and activate regions associated with insight and emotional integration. Meditation reduces activity in the default mode network, allowing subconscious material to surface. Breathwork floods the body with oxygen, triggering catharsis. Lucid dreaming engages the prefrontal cortex during REM sleep, enabling conscious navigation of the subconscious landscape. These states are not anomalies, they are evolutionary tools. Take Ananya, a 38-year-old corporate strategist in Delhi who suffered from chronic anxiety. Traditional therapy helped her understand her triggers, but the anxiety persisted. She began practicing holotropic breathwork, guided by a facilitator and supported by ambient music. During one session, she experienced a vivid memory of being left alone in a market as a child, an event she had never consciously recalled. She wept, trembled, and felt released. "It was like my body remembered before my mind did," she said. The altered state had unlocked a buried imprint, and her subconscious had finally spoken. Lucid dreaming and subconscious navigation. Lucid dreaming is one of the most direct ways to engage the subconscious. In this state, the dreamer becomes aware they are dreaming and can influence the dream's content. This allows for symbolic exploration, emotional rehearsal, and subconscious dialogue. Lucid dreams often feature archetypal figures, surreal landscapes, and emotionally charged scenarios. They are not random, they are crafted by the subconscious as metaphoric messages. Researchers at the Max Planck Institute found that lucid dreamers show increased activity in the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for self-awareness and decision-making. This suggests that lucid dreaming is a hybrid state, part subconscious, part conscious. It allows for intentional healing, creativity, and integration. Some therapists now use dream incubation techniques, guiding clients to plant questions before sleep and interpret the symbolic answers upon waking. Consider Leo, a 27-year-old filmmaker in Los Angeles who struggled with creative block. He began practicing lucid dreaming using reality checks and dream journaling. One night he found himself in a desert, speaking to a masked figure who handed him a broken compass. Leo interpreted the dream as a message. His inner guidance system had been disrupted. He began meditating daily, reconnecting with his intuition. Within weeks he completed a screenplay that had stalled for months. "The dream didn't give me answers," he said. "It gave me symbols." His subconscious had offered direction through metaphor. AI-enhanced altered states, promise and peril. Artificial intelligence is now being used to guide altered states. Meditation apps use adaptive soundscapes and biometric feedback. VR platforms simulate sacred environments, forests, celestial realms. AI-generated breathwork sequences adjust to user stress levels. These tools can deepen immersion, personalize experience, and democratize access. But they also raise questions. Can machines hold space for the soul? Can algorithms guide transformation without understanding? The promise is real. AI can help users enter trance faster, track progress, and offer symbolic prompts. It can simulate the rhythm of a shamanic drum, the cadence of a mantra, the visuals of a dream. But the peril lies in over-simulation. If the experience becomes too curated, too aesthetic, too controlled, the subconscious may not fully engage. Altered states require surrender, unpredictability, and emotional risk. Machines can facilitate, but they must not dominate. Take Farah, a 45-year-old psychotherapist in Toronto who used a VR meditation app during a sabbatical. The app guided her through a symbolic journey, crossing a bridge, entering a cave, meeting a luminous figure. Farah felt awe but also detachment. "It was beautiful," she said, "but it felt like someone else's dream." She later returned to breathwork and journaling, seeking rawness over polish. The AI had offered a map, but her subconscious needed wilderness. Designing for depth, ritual, rhythm, and reverence. To use AI ethically in altered states, designers must prioritize depth over dazzle. This means creating interfaces that honor rhythm, ritual, and emotional resonance. It means allowing silence, ambiguity, and user agency. The goal is not to entertain, it is to awaken. Symbolic design must be rooted in psychological insight, not aesthetic novelty. Some platforms are exploring co-creative trance, where users shape the symbolic landscape, choose archetypes, and guide their own journey. Others are integrating biofeedback loops, allowing breath, heartbeat, and emotion to influence the experience. These systems do not replace the subconscious, they reflect it. They become mirrors, not puppeteers. Consider Tenzin, a 33-year-old Tibetan-American coder who built a VR ritual inspired by Bardo teachings. Users enter a dreamlike realm, confront symbolic fears, and choose paths of release. The system adapts to user breath and gaze, creating a dynamic trance. Tenzin said, "It's not a game. It's a death rehearsal. His users report emotional catharsis, spiritual insight, and subconscious clarity. The ritual is digital, but the awakening is real. The future of subconscious technology. As AI continues to evolve, the frontier of altered states will expand. Brain-computer interfaces may allow direct subconscious interaction. Dream simulators may offer guided journeys through symbolic terrain. Breath-responsive environments may become common in homes and clinics. But the challenge will remain how to preserve the sacred in the synthetic. The subconscious is not a dataset, it is a mystery. It responds to rhythm, symbol, and presence. Technology can amplify these elements, but only if it is designed with reverence. The future of subconscious technology is not in control, it is in co-creation. It is not in simulation, it is in symbolic truth. Take Maya, a 39-year-old ritual designer in London who created a hybrid ceremony using AI-generated music, breathwork, and ancestral storytelling. Participants wore biometric sensors that influenced the soundscape. As they breathed, the music shifted. As they spoke, the visuals changed. Maya said, "It's not about replacing tradition. It's about weaving it with innovation." Her ceremonies are now used in grief circles, creative retreats, and spiritual workshops. The subconscious, she believes, is ready for a new kind of ritual, one that honors both myth and machine. Altered states are sacred portals to the subconscious. They allow us to feel, remember, and transform. In the age of AI, these states can be enhanced, but they must not be commodified. The subconscious is not a playground, it is a temple. And every breath, every dream, every symbol is a prayer.